Okay. Good morning.
Good morning, Griswold.
Here we are.
Get up. Get up.
Up and at 'em.
Yep. Ready to go. Rock and roll.
Okay, so name of the show today is Slippery Slopes, and thank you.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the Board of Ed.
We're going to talk a little bit about the Board of Finance meeting that occurred last night. There was a lot of good stuff. There was some questionable stuff. And I'm going to let Mr. Wozlik start it off with the conversation.
Well, seeing as the Board of Ed brought in $3,750,000, was that right?
Yeah, projected for next year.
3.75
Next year.
Projected
for
for
next year.
Yep.
Yeah, 3.75 million, which is always projected. They had the 250,000 as a thank you taken away.
So they initially
So-
projected $3.5 million.
Right, and then they
And,
went up to 3.75
Yeah,
because
Sean rolled that out Tuesday night.
the field brought in more students.
Yeah, well, something like that.
Yeah.
Tuition students, correct.
Yep. And then they ended up taking the 250,000 away.
So I missed that.
Does that
part.
include Chromebooks? Well, they added some money back, I think, but then something about Chromebooks. They took the Chromebooks away, right?
Chromebooks didn't fly.
Yeah, they took that out of capital, and then it was taken away totally.
Yep.
So when I walked in, because I was leaving, we were in the ordinance
Yeah, we were in
meeting.
the ordinance.
So we walked in about 5-10 minutes late, and somebody started off saying, "So 1.22 mil," and I'm like, "How do we get to 1.22 mil?" And then after the meeting was explained to me, like you said, that they took the extra 250 that the school raised through
Right.
tuition
Put
students
it into
because
the
it was
budget.
added on top of the earlier projection.
Which I understand legally it has to go into the general budget.
Right.
But I don't know about legally, but traditional practice everywhere is put it in the general budget.
Right.
And then, but you should be giving it back to those that brought the money in to displace their budget. So it's not going to be
The
having
first
to be
132,000.
right.
Let's be honest. Should have bought them the new Chromebooks,
Right.
right?
They could have done that. Sure.
I think so.
Yeah. Creative thinking. Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I would,
And work with the rest afterwards.
honestly, I would hate to have their job. So
Mhm.
I've never been interested in going on the Board of
This is
Finance.
true. You're the bad
Because
guy.
no matter what,
You're
you're a
not gonna
lose.
win.
You lose
You're not
lose
gonna
all
win.
the way around. But it's a hard job, and you're there to honestly piss people off. That's what you.
Well, I don't
That's
think you
that's the end.
try
Res,
to.
that's the end result.
you're
no
not
matter
gonna
What's
what.
going to happen?
Yeah, it's
So
the end
it's like
result.
life. You're not going to
Yeah.
make everybody happy,
Right.
right?
Right.
Everybody's got to give up something.
Right. What I was seeing last night, like we were just talking about, was a lot of not knowing what is reality a little bit, what people's jobs are, how things work. And there's a lot of things that people need to be educated on. Like you were
Okay.
saying, Scott goes around, he came to every department. Hey, this is how this works. I don't understand this. Explain this to me, explain that to me. But
That message never got
that-
conveyed
no,
because a lot of people asked a lot of questions last
Right.
night that
and they should have already known.
should know. Yeah,
Right.
That's right.
So I think honestly, the group of them should be going around as a
Okay.
committee and talking to each department, asking questions. Go to the fire department. What do you do? Come and find out.
You already got asked that.
Yeah. Well, they're like, come and find out then.
Oh, by the way, who was that guy standing there? Can I? Oh, Rich. Yeah,
Mm.
The gentleman, obviously you never met
the
him.
gentleman there. I'd like to ask him some questions about the $1,000.
But
We just don't want you doing boat courses.
yeah, I will not do a boat course. I just got licensed.
Yeah, there's a
this
department
year.
that does that and issues licenses for that.
I got licensed last year, so I will not teach it.
Right.
Very good. So what we're talking about here is that there was a meeting the other night, and a lot of people came out to provide their feedback on the impact on rec services and recreation youth services. And so, like we talked about, the board chair of finance opened up with comments relating to what,
Mhm.
not meaning that he was going to influence, the discussion, which essentially he did, because when I sat down, the first thing I heard was, I agree with the board chair.
Out of several
Out
people.
of several people, I agree with a lot of the points the board chair says. Well, that should tell you right off the bat, yeah, you already influenced everybody's thoughts. But in essence, the piece that I missed was, okay, we're starting at 1.22 mil. Well, that is because they are taking the $250,000 extra projected by the school superintendent that he rolled out on Tuesday night, and they're using that to recoup some of the cuts. Now they reinstated the assistant rec director.
That was good.
Okay, that's good.
Positive.
Mhm.
They rescinded the $150,000 that they were going to take from the surplus.
Right.
That's good. They increased the fire marshal truck costs for $15,000 and change. So the fire marshal going to have a new truck driving around. Okay, was it really a need? I don't know, but okay, they got
Better
their
try
truck.
and use one, for 15,000 more.
Yep. They threw back in the $5,000 for the grant writer. Is that going to do anything? Not really.
No,
$5,000
it's
ain't
not
going to do
enough.
a damn thing. No, it's not enough. So, but anyway, they did that.
It's a start. Yeah.
Reinstated the road repair of $30,000 to the capital. Okay, that's needed. Probably more actually.
Yeah, it's not enough.
It's
Either.
not enough. Right? That doesn't amount to
no.
much.
Reinstate
You
the
get a shovel.
$2,000 to the EDC, but I don't think they pushed that forward because they wanted some response from the EDC what they're going to do with the money.
It was reinstated and then taken away.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
they're
at
still sitting there with their 3,000.
3,000 now, and they wanted 2 more or something. And it
Correct.
got taken
Well, that's
away,
because
and
the
now
signs last a while.
they wouldn't put it back in because they only used $224 the year before or something like
It's
that.
because the signs last a while.
Yeah, they last. You don't have to replace them every year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody chatting or showing up here. So
Not yet.
no.
Probably used to being late.
Yeah.
Well,
But they,
Probably.
was it 20,000? I don't. Maybe you can explain the exchange account.
I
don't
believe that's
understand
like
what
an extra fund or
Oh,
something that they
right.
can pull money
That's
from if they need extra
The
money.
overdrafts, basically.
Yeah.
Right?
Right,
Yeah.
like that.
Right.
So they put 20 grand into
Firefighters,
that, and they
stipends,
were
things
talking
like that.
about
Yep.
if the fire department needed more money for
Stipends.
Yeah, because they took 15,000 off Jewish City.
right or any other extra money that comes up during the course of the year, they can pull a few from there, like maybe your 1,500 for your CERT program.
Oh, that's being donated now.
It's being donated. Perfect. And once it gets donated, you get refunded. There
That's
you go. Yeah. Anyway, so what else going down the line? So when we got to then the rec
Oh,
van,
the selectmen.
the rec van got
Oh, yes, the passenger van.
brought back. Yeah, well, it's not a passenger van; it's a cargo van.
Yeah.
Let me reiterate for the
We can't
15th
put kids in
time:
there,
it's a
okay?
cargo van. It's not
Right.
carrying
You
kids
can't
around.
transport people.
But they remember
Oh, there we go.
they have to get
We got
relicensed.
some people out there. Good morning. All happy Friday. They're coming in now. Victoria, Laura, there you go. Good morning, gents. Happy to see you are all paying
Good
attention to
morning,
your own,
peeps.
to your town budget. Yeah, we are.
This is your summary of your town budget.
Yeah. So let's see.
So the 5,000 was added back to the first selectman.
Yeah, her selectman.
She tried to reduce
She
her
tried
salary.
to reduce her own salary, and it was brought up that well, she's the head of the town. She's got all the responsibility. She listens to all the complaints.
I like the way they referenced
So
other people at lower levels than her making more money than her too.
Yes. This is one
With
question.
less responsibilities.
Yeah, this is what's bothering me. You're
Yep.
giving people like a finance director, the secretary for the first selectman.
Yep.
They're getting these huge salary
Making more than
increases,
the
and now
first selectman.
we're having to cut all this important stuff in the budget.
Yep.
I don't understand. That's
Well, I think they're union. It's contract, isn't it?
no,
I don't know
no.
what
They're
they.
not
I
union,
don't
no?
think they're union, but
No.
the
No.
Board of Finance has. They can't. They don't have any say in the
Right, and that's I
contracts.
don't understand that either.
So and that impacts the budget, right?
Right, and that's-
the town budget. So
That's equals a lot of the cuts that were made.
some of the cuts.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to, but the other thing was they talked about the wash pit for the vehicles, and that
Oh, yeah.
quote alone is $1.1 million, and then they need a location and a building on top of that.
Yeah,
So that's going to turn into a project.
that'll be then the town building.
So
committee.
that's
huge.
there's a lot more discussion on that.
Yeah, which that's going to be probably a couple of years, I imagine.
Yeah, and they reference just going out to bond for it and just doing it.
Yeah.
because there's 75,000 in an account for that right now. I think
Yep,
they said
75,000. Yeah,
they talked about just going out for a bond for that in a
Yep.
couple of years.
And I think
Mm-hmm.
Todd had said, I guess it was 8 to 10 years ago when they looked at it, it
Yep.
was like 350,000 or something like
yeah,
that.
which means it's going to be 3 times now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phew.
Well, that's what inflation does.
Yeah, but they're going to have to probably tear down another building or tear down some property somewhere to do that because this. I don't. They
Yeah,
mentioned
put
the
it where the
school.
old alt school building was, except they just
There you
sold
go.
that, I think, or it's got to get voted on, I think, by the town. I think
They voted.
So,
Yeah,
Did they vote
there's
it?
another
I think
positive
there's
too
another
that wasn't even
step
talked
about
about.
that.
Think about that for a second. That's an offer of $220,000 for that property right now.
And they
Granted, a real
accepted it.
estate agent's going to take some. I mean, I get it, but at the end of the day, what does the town end up getting out of that? 190 somewhere in that general area.
Yeah.
So that money will end up in the general fund. I mean, it's coming. An offer's been made. Just accept it and move on.
They did.
And now you've got more money.
Mhm.
We could have had either more services added in or cut the mill rate back some more.
Yeah, according to the minutes the other day, they
Or
did accept it.
Chromebooks,
Exactly. Exactly.
because it used to be a school property.
Well, this is true. It's
Right.
not. It's
And the other school building that they refurbished for $660,000, how much is the taxpayer paying for that? Zippo.
Zero.
Yep.
That was all funded by grants, researched
Yeah.
by
So
the superintendent and
So who wrote
their
those grants?
staff.
Yeah, so according to the minutes the other day, the board for the board of selectmen, they did accept the
They did
$220,000.
accept it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and then mine taking out the Hubbard clause. That's was something they wanted done, taking the Hubbard clause off.
So Victoria says, to your point
Yep.
about the selectmen, our town is the same. Several employees make more than the first selectman. So the
Oh.
first selectman is more like a transient
Well, that's-
You would think
person,
they're the
right?
CEO. They should
Yeah,
be,
if
they
they're-
should be making the most money.
Well,
yeah, they're a
They've
CEO.
got-
That's it.
they've
Yeah,
got-
well, I have a problem with one individual making almost 40 grand more than the
Right.
next person in the building there.
Right.
Right now,
Yeah.
the finance director is probably $35,000 to $40,000 more than the
Right.
public works director or the town planner and that kind of stuff,
Yeah,
right?
definitely. Yeah.
like
So-
usually when you do increases like that, you do a study in the area, and you have to match the people in the area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
come close.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they
it's
did the
affordable.
study for. We looked at the
Yeah.
salaries for the first selectman, months ago, and it was way out of whack.
It was
So,
too low. There was no
yeah.
doubt about that.
Yeah, they brought it up to 70,000, 65 to 70.
75, then went to 70.
No, it's 70 now.
Yeah.
It went back to 65,
65.
and now it's
They're
still
back to
at
70,
70.
right?
I thought it was 65 to 70.
And I think
Which is
Lisbon
which is
first
low.
selectman is around 82 or something like that,
Yep.
and the Plainfield guy is like 85 or
Mhm.
something like that. So, but you look at a lot of the other salaries in the town building;
Mm-hmm.
they're kind of low. We're struggling with
An assessor.
an assessor. We got a town clerk that's going to be leaving in November
Yep.
after the elections.
Yep.
Thank God she's staying for that, helping us out there. Yeah. So
But they ended up making the mill rate 1.47.
after it's all said and done, yeah, it's 1.47.
And we're not borrowing that $150,000
Nope.
you have to pay
So
back next year.
yeah,
Right.
we won't be starting off with a 0.16.
Right.
So
Mill
to be
rate
sent
increase
to
to
the Board of Selectmen town meeting, the general budget would be $10,465,354, and Board of Ed $31,842,424 and 8 cents.
8 cents.
Yeah. So all in all, the town side got $250,000
Mm-hmm.
to
Extra.
support all the gaps, right? To help provide some better services. And what'd school get?
Cut.
They didn't get Chromebooks.
No.
So they got cut $385,000 a couple weeks ago.
That sounds about right.
I
Yeah.
thought it was
And they-
$415 for some reason.
They gave them
added it
back
back.
30,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was another comment made by somebody last night. Well,
I'll never do that again.
I'll never do that again if the Chromebooks stay in Capitol. I said, you really do your research.
It's kinda
Look
petty.
around at some of the school systems nearby, because we did, and you've got Ledger, Killingly, and Plainfield, all similar school systems that all the Chromebooks, all that type of technology is. Guess what? I'll give you one guess. Where is it?
Mhm.
Where is it placed?
Capital.
Capital. That's why there is technology in the
Yeah.
definition of capital.
Oh, let's see. Let's look
Common
at some of
Somebody
the
said last night, no matter how
comments.
you do it, the taxpayers are still paying for it.
Well, I think people need to
No
understand
matter
what
where
the
it comes from, the taxpayers are paying for
right.
it.
And I think
Who
people need to
cares?
understand the point of a capital is you add money to that every year.
Right.
It's built on, so you're not hurting everything all at once.
correct. It's the
And
future of the town.
That's why it's in there.
Right. So I got a comment from Jamie O'Neill Eaton, who we all know pretty well.
Good morning, Jamie.
Hey, Jamie.
Yeah, the BOF doesn't have a say in salaries, but they can reduce salary line items, which
Right.
they have done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a good point. Scott Davis. Location of wash building will be limited to a location with sewer, from what I am told.
Mhm.
So that's
Makes
another
sense.
challenge.
Sure.
I'm sure we're limited in that area, but
You
I'm
wash
sure
your
they'll
truck,
find a
that's
spot.
A lot of water.
Yeah. So Cortland says, if memory serves, the town paid $375,000 for the old alt school on 201.
Mhm. The first time, the original time.
I think that's what it got listed for.
Yeah, I think it got listed for that, but they got
They got an offer of 220.
according to the notes there from the board of selectment notes that Rich just read. They got it for 220.
222
Sold for
or something.
220.
think
There
it's
is some work
220.
that needs to be done in the building upstairs, I believe.
Yeah.
But,
Yep.
Well,
then Victoria says, don't do the salary study through a company. It's a waste of money. We did it.
You do it yourself. You can.
Cost $5,000. We could have done
Yeah.
the same thing for free.
No, I've done it in New London.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Just look around and
Yeah, you just have to look around in your area, similar towns and stuff like that, see what the
If they don't
salaries
want
are.
to give it
and-
to you, you can always FOI it.
Right.
It's,
yeah,
it's,
you
know,
can look
it's-
it. Actually, you can look it up online.
Yeah.
It's easy to
all
do.
the salaries are public knowledge.
Yeah, it's all listed. So
Matter of fact, all hours were posted in the paper several months ago.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
they do.
there you go.
People do that on a regular basis for some reason now.
We had
So I will give kudos to Mr. Davis, because after the meeting, he came to four of us, pretty much knowing he wasn't going to get a big pat on the back or anything like that, and all smiley faces and stuff. So we had a good conversation. It was, wasn't any finger pointing or anything like that, but
it's not
the
worth
question is,
Mhm.
and my problem is, and Scott's listening, is, okay, the school gave you an extra $250,000 to play with because of the tuition students and stuff.
Mhm.
I didn't hear one thank you for
Yeah.
that, for covering all the rest of the expenses that we brought back in.
Here's a question: Could
So-
could the school have kept that money?
No,
No,
So-
it has to be given to them.
It has to be.
Yeah.
given
have to
the
be
Board of Finance,
transparent.
right?
They have to be transparent, and they have to give
Yeah.
it back
So
to the general
all
fund.
income has to go into the general
Sure.
budget and then
And
brought
then
back.
be redistributed back out.
It's really just a pencil.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Right.
the other thing that I didn't care for, some of the remarks, some of the grilling that was going on. I mean,
Yeah.
they brought back $1,000 public health and safety, and we're sitting here listening to 5 minutes. So what are you going to do with that $1,000? Really?
We're gonna go out and
All you should be saying is, can we afford to pay the $1,000 out? Yes or no, and then
Exactly.
we'll deal with.
what are you gonna do with that? Gonna go crank keys
$1,000,
across the
right.
street.
It'll be
Yeah.
accounted for. If it gets spent, it gets accounted for.
It has to give receipts anyway.
We got into
Yeah.
conversations about vans with Ryan and cargo vans, passenger vans, and Ryan had to
Right.
say 2 or 3 times, it's a cargo van. I'm not carrying kids.
Well, like I was telling Scott last night, the committees, every committee has to stay in their lane.
Yeah.
Board of Finance, here's your money. Do you get it? Do you not? What is it for? Okay, I can understand that a little bit.
They'll
What
try
is
to
it for?
micromanage.
But you don't set policy for the other department. That would be like public health and safety coming in and telling the tax office how to do taxes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that. It's like, here's your money, here's not your money, or that's not safe. Boom.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the way I've always seen it. That's the way it's
And
traditionally
I understand
done.
Scott can't make motions and things like that because he's the chair.
Right.
He's got to let the rest of the board members.
It's almost like you lose power as
right.
chair.
So I didn't notice it with you. No.
I don't know what you're
Chair
talking
ordinance.
about. I don't know what you're talking about.
So anyway, I've been following this for all the meetings, been going to a lot of meetings the last 6 to 8 months. And we've got some dysfunction in the town.
A little bit.
Yeah. I'm going to be kind to say a little bit. And I would really like to see us working better as a team and people making decisions with some knowledge basis on the decisions that they're making without thinking about, so who got hurt out of this? Basically, who got hurt out of all these?
The kids.
Right. The kids.
Mm-hmm.
And these Chromebooks or whatever they need that last 3-4 years. And that's why they're in capital, because every year, 4-year cycle, they replace a certain
the new ones
population.
going forward is supposed to be 8 years. I heard that last
They can
night.
stretch it to 8 years.
These were COVID Chromebooks that were only
Right.
supposed to be good for 4 years to begin with. But the new ones going forward, you can get upwards
Yeah.
of
So
8
what happened
years.
with COVID is the federal government mandated, again, more unfunded mandates,
Sure.
and that the kids have to be given the technology because there's kids, I guess the families can't.
They wouldn't let them go to school.
Well, that, and they can't. They're saying the families couldn't afford to pay for their Wi-Fi, computers to do homework, and so they mandated that the kids be given the technology.
Yeah.
And those Chromebooks, honestly, they're not. You can't do anything else on them.
No,
They're not. You can't play
there's
Warcraft.
No memory, there's nothing in them.
Yeah, you can't play Days of
No,
Doom.
it all
or
goes
whatever.
up into the
cloud.
Yeah, the
cloud
cloud.
up there.
So
Yeah.
really, they have to do their tests online now. They have to communicate, do school meetings online. All this stuff is required.
Parent communication,
Yeah.
everything's on there.
They have to do their homework online in a Google Classroom.
Yep.
And so they have to be provided these tools. And now, and I hate to say it, we said like, some comment was made, we're going not backwards, but you're going to have to play catch up. Eventually, you're going to have to pay for these down the road.
The term that I've heard at the Board of Ed meetings when you're talking about the Chromebooks, we have to be able to stay competitive with the rest of the other school systems, and this is one of the tools we use to stay competitive.
Yeah,
the rest it'd be on a 1-to-1 basis with the rest of the.
It's standard now
systems.
that every kid, the schools give them the technology.
Oh, my daughter teaches down in West Virginia in Lewisburg, and it's nothing but farm country down there, and they use them. My daughter-in-law teaches over in North Carolina. They use them. It's accepted. It's a new thing. I mean, there's no more taking your notebook home. I mean, it's on a Chromebook.
Yeah, and one of the other reasons was the kids' health.
Yeah,
because carrying the 400-pound backpacks with all
full of
those
school
books
books
and homework and notebooks. Now they just carry a
I wonder
Chromebook.
why they walk hunched over today.
Wait a minute. Look at us.
I know.
Yeah,
Are
I
we
know.
screwed up?
We did.
Yeah,
it.
we
No,
did
hey,
it.
Listen,
You know.
3 back surgeries later.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I mean,
I carried books to and from school,
Up and
uphill both
downhill.
ways, and
Yeah.
6 feet of snow.
Yep.
Well,
You took them home and you wrapped them in shopping bags.
I was like,
remember?
they gave you books for school? I thought
What's
I
a book?
missed something.
What's a book?
It sat in the bottom of my locker. That's what.
They don't need a locker anymore.
Homework? What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I never did homework, but that was me.
I
But
did it on the bus on the way to school the next morning.
yeah, I felt like the class I did it. But no, but I think the goal should be from now on. And again,
And if you failed, you failed. They didn't.
that's
pass
it.
you.
No, there
You
was
did
no.
not- You did not get the free pass.
There was no
to make the school
move
look
on no
good.
matter what. Yeah.
Things are different.
But I think from now on, and I know it's tough. I'm not saying this is an easy job, but the future's got to be looked at. That not staying at 0 or 1.5, like Scott said, it should be 1.75.
Well, because that's not buying.
Yeah, well,
your-
Scott
Yeah.
said that. Scott thought
That-
it should.
those little
As a matter of fact, it could be
1.5s
1.6, and they could have the damn
and that's-
Chromebooks.
but
$5
That's
a
not
month.
buying fire trucks.
Right.
Because you know it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know it's coming.
You got a ladder truck, rescue truck, pumper. That's going to be due
Look at
soon.
the pumper. I mean, right
Yep.
now they're what? We're floating around $1
$1 million,
right?
yeah.
For a pumper.
Right. So, and the thing was the discussion was they shouldn't be in capital. Okay, fine. Then they got to go back in the budget.
Mhm.
Okay, so are we going to give the school any more money back in the budget so they can purchase some Chromebooks? Nothing went back. Nothing.
No.
It didn't go in the budget. It's not on capital. Gonzo.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So really, in essence, they got cut $385,000, but they also lost $133,000 in capital or wherever because the Chromebooks aren't there. So now the superintendent and the staff has got to try and dig up, see where they can find monies or whatever they can do.
Didn't they talk about out of that 250,000, putting 130 of it back in the hands of buying Chromebooks? Wasn't that part of the
It was
conversation last
not
night?
voted on. They never threw it in there.
No, well, I know it never happened,
Yeah.
but
It was talked
It was
about.
talked about.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that part. Was that the beginning?
I thought so.
I heard a mention of it, but it never got accepted.
It wasn't a whole lot of conversation, but I thought it got
I know
mentioned.
one board member was pushing to get Chromebooks back,
And he
it
got shot
denied.
down. That was
he got shot
that
right
was
down.
pre-decided. You could tell they were all laughing and
Yeah,
smiling when
nobody-
he was brought it up.
That was a poor display.
Yeah, it was kind of insulting.
Yeah.
It was.
There was a lot of people in that room insulted.
I did
So-
not lie. I told the truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God.
There you go. But you can be insulted, but you also understand, there's got to be decisions made. Somebody's going to lose money. But if you're taking money from one body of the town
That's making
money,
and giving it to others.
wouldn't it be fair
when they
to
have
give
needs?
some of that money?
Why didn't they give them half of it? Give them
Something.
62,
Well,
62
You know, when that
grand or whatever.
individual said, "Yeah, I want to get the $132,000 back to the Chromebooks," and he got denied, and he said, "Let me make another motion. I want to give $65,000
Exactly. Why not half of it?
back for the Chromebooks. At least give them something."
Sure.
You know, but they got nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, and you could tell that was pre-decided because
Sure it was.
there's someone going around giving bad information to the Board of Finance.
Mhm.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
crosstalk going on.
Right.
Whether you think we're not seeing it or not, it's pretty apparent to
It's
everybody that's got
it's
a brain.
obvious.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing. You gotta, and that's why I said I saw Scott Davis at a couple Board of Ed meetings. He
Mhm.
saw what was going on. You know, I've seen he was at the rec meeting last
Mhm.
week to understand.
He came
you know,
up to the
impact.
firehouse and talked to us.
You know, he's been to the firehouse. So at least a couple people, and I know Rob Hamill, who's on the
Mhm.
Board of Finance. He's been involved with some school activities. He knows
Yeah,
what's
his
going
whole
on with the
life,
school. Of course, he knows what's going on in the firehouse. He's part of the firehouse.
Mhm.
Um,
He knows what's
you know,
going
and he
on
was
in
the one
both.
that was fighting for the Chromebooks because he understands the impact.
Yeah.
Right. He's still
His
got
kids
kids
in
in the
school.
system. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't have any kids in school anymore, but I got grandkids that are starting to go
I have
there.
kids in other schools, but it's obvious how important those Chromebooks are.
Your tax dollars still go to this school.
Right. Yeah. Then
I don't know if it's a dead subject right now, but you know, Scott, I agreed with Scott that, you know, 1.47 we're sitting at now, and what's 1.6? What's the difference of a 1.6 mill rate and the Chromebooks?
Was
are
it $5 or something a month?
Does it even
Not
take
much.
that much
Yes.
from a 1.47?
You know,
If you did the math on that.
even if they did one,
100,000.
even if they got it
Mhm.
back up to 1.5 and gave him 30 grand for
Yeah.
Christ's sakes,
It's like
it's
0.09.
better than nothing.
What did we figure out? It was $40 extra a month or something.
Yeah.
For right now.
Let's see.
So you skip a few Dunkin' Donuts coffees. It's not a.
I got Jamie Hamill made a comment.
Oh.
Let's hope when board members are up for re-election, residents, especially parents, remember which BOF members did not vote to support their children, which members were uninformed and unprepared. Right on.
That's how you do it.
Do it
gotta,
up.
You gotta take it to the polls.
So I was surprised at a couple board members that didn't support the Chromebooks. But it is what it is. So maybe they get the 220 from the house that used to belong to the school.
Maybe they let them buy Chromebooks, right?
Maybe
Mm-hmm.
they give them some of that money to go get some Chromebooks. That would be the
It's
fair.
found money.
That would be the fair thing to do.
It's give them 130, put the other.
And if there's any selectmen
60
that
or
are
whatever's
listening
left
to
in the
this,
bank.
you might want to work with that, because I think that's the best thing. Because basically, the school bailed out the town.
And I think
And that's a no cost to the town at all. You
Yep.
sold a piece of property, it's found money.
Yep.
Buy their Chromebooks and call it a day.
Fair is
put
fair.
the rest in the bank.
Right.
Teamwork is teamwork, and that's what it's all
I
about.
think this goes
Teamwork.
back to,
I did not see. I saw a lot of teamwork
I saw a lot of personal vendetta.
and
Real life
personal
stuff.
agendas. I didn't see a lot of. I didn't see any kind of building bridges across
Agreed.
certain boards that I have noticed that there's a problem.
I think this goes back to the communication in town.
Yeah.
I think this goes back to having the committees get together once a year or quarterly and talk about all this stuff ahead of time. That way it's not
Yep.
backdoored or anything like that. Or
Well, people should be coming to the meeting prepared. I saw one individual that had a notepad, with all kinds of red ink all over it. He was
Mhm.
prepared. I think the chair was prepared. Some of the comments made, but some of the other ones that they did not understand the background.
They didn't seem to
What was-
understand
what-
anything that was being talked about.
There was something brought up about it was in your package and somebody, I didn't see that. And
Yeah.
finally found it, but looked at somebody else's first.
This individual
numbers.
already had line items.
Yeah, yeah.
He spelled out line items what he was bringing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was prepared. He knew what he wanted to
there was
talk
one
about.
who didn't even realize that they had the paperwork that they were talking about and was like, I didn't get that.
Probably just looked at it that night, an hour
You
You
before.
don't need
All of
one
a sudden,
person
we
or
found
two
it.
people leading the charge and everybody being parrots going, yeah.
Mhm.
We need some discussion. There was at least one person that was providing feedback.
Mhm.
This is what I think. I don't agree. you know, which is good. You need to have people like that.
And the sad thing is you see that happen on a lot of committees.
Yeah.
That's why the last time I sent the items out for ordinance, I said, please read and be ready to comment on it. Like it's like teaching high school. You shouldn't have to tell people to do their homework before the class.
So anyway, yeah, so we're in agreement. You know, when we go to meetings, I'm not going to go to a meeting just not get anything done.
Right, you have to.
You know,
I
got better things to do in my life than to go to meetings and not do anything.
Yeah, spending valuable time
sit
to
there and bicker with the rest of the committee.
Right. Yeah. So you set an agenda, you set a goal, you try and get something done.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you don't have enough people, or you're missing a person that needs to be there. It's got the info. Yeah, you got to table it.
That's life.
You know, you got to adjust, but you know, you got to keep moving
table
forward.
Everything. Right.
Seen that.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Jamie Hamill said that's exactly right. Wayne.
Oh my goodness.
Bailed out the town. The town should be bending over backwards, or at the very least say thank you. And that's all we're asking for is thank you. You know, thank you. It's so hard. I mean, I got a 2-year-old that when I give her a goodie, she says, thank you, Papa.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, you know, I got a superintendent that gave the town an extra $250,000. You'd think you'd get a thank you from somebody, you know. And I know Mike's probably going to listen to this later. Oh, Wayne, you're killing yourself. So listen, I'm not killing myself.
Nope.
I am just telling it like it is.
It's what happened.
Right?
This is what
happened. These are the facts.
There's nothing being made up.
You know?
Yeah.
It's
just
what
being
happened,
honest.
or didn't happen. It's there.
You know, I'm trying to be respectful, but I saw a lot of disrespect last night by some board members.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the comments they made, it's like, okay, well, you know, what's that? Can I ask that gentleman what he's going to do with that $1,000 for the plain health and safety? And
no,
you know, you don't really need to.
No.
Do you have the money to give them?
Right.
Yes, you do.
When it gets used, you'll get receipts.
Yeah.
If you got a problem with them, question the receipts at that point.
And it's not like a grant where you have to spell out individual things you're going to use.
Yeah, we need to before we get the rec van, we need to make sure we have certified drivers and blah 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 blah. Whoa! It's a cargo van. Not carrying any kids around.
And you don't have the right to tell them how to set policy in the department.
And as soon as Ryan spoke to that conversation didn't end on the other side.
Right.
They kept
drilling them and
CDLs about no. Listen, he made it clear it's a cargo van. There will be no kids in that van. There's a front seat and a passenger seat. That's all there is.
Yeah, and CDL, where'd that come from?
Yeah,
not driving an overweight vehicle.
So Ryan spelled out when he
maybe.
Transports kids, he rents a bus.
Right.
That's
the best
what
way
he
to
does.
do it. Put it on somebody else.
Right.
And
He was trained. They got the insurance.
He just wants a vehicle that he can safely,
haul tents and canopies,
haul
and
his
whatever
equipment
he's got,
around. That's it.
Listen,
and by the way,
a
lot of his programs are supported by what?
Taxpayer, man? What do you mean?
Who else supports his programs?
The parents.
Where does he have his basketball league at?
School. Yeah.
Right. So and Ryan even spelled that out in the show when he was on. He says, I get a lot of help and support from the superintendent and the board of ed.
Being held together by the wrap that they put on that thing. That's loaded with rust. It's just listen, it's seen better days.
So he needs a new cargo van. So he's gonna get that.
And I think they need to go back to the belief that the kids are the future and they have to be supported and brought up the right way. And to do that, you got to have certain services in town.
Exactly.
Those are the important things.
Right.
It's not.
If you stop stopping services, guess what happens?
People
Kids
leave.
Go to other towns.
Yeah.
So Paul Ash.
Paul
is enjoying his Friday off by commenting. Over the next year, we need to look into addressing the tax increases on our older generation. Yeah, there was one individual the other night that, I was surprised there wasn't more, but freezing taxes are some method to ease the burden. Of course, if you freeze taxes in this town, Paul, you're going to get a herd of people coming to the town.
Oh, yeah. Then you're going to have to support them.
So you got to watch what you do with that. But I understand what you're saying. These folks are paid their taxes for many years, and a number of services in the town were paid by them. So, yes.
No, I hear that a lot, and I understand it. There's also a flip side a little bit to that as well. Is one, the taxes are what pay to take care of them, and that cost is going up.
Taxes
so where
are paid
is that
for,
going to come from?
So the taxes, the seniors have a senior center. Taxes are paying for that. Taxes are paying for any kind of transportation they need. Taxes are paying for emergency services, police.
They're the biggest user.
They pay their
of
taxes in the borough for the police. They pay. And some of these people in the borough, the seniors, are paying an extra little bit on top of what?
Yeah, we're paying
We're
two
Top of the
taxes.
town
right?
tax, right?
Yeah,
So for the services in the borough.
yeah.
What is it, another 2 or 3 mils, something like that?
It just went up 0.003.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot.
Went up.
Yeah, it went up too.
But where is it? A couple mils? Total?
I'm honestly, I'm not sure.
So Paul's a senior.
It's not much.
Who else is a senior in this room?
Almost.
What age are you looking
You?
at?
Well, Rich, you're retired. You're there, right?
Are you looking at AARP
I'm 65.
qualification or?
Oh, I've been in AARP since I was 50.
Yeah, 50.
Yeah, so I'm 5 years away from that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Young whippersnapper.
I get a lifetime membership for
Yes.
$200.
Really?
Victoria
Oh.
says people need to be better informed. We had a guy lose his. Oh, I got it. Okay.
Is it a bad word?
Lose his mind because
Okay.
he didn't understand how to read the budget. He looked at department numbers and thought it was all salary. We had some of that the other night.
Mm-hmm.
Some misinformation the way you read the budget.
Mm-hmm.
And
Looking at the wrong years.
Good.
And I
Yeah.
thought it was all salary, and it was the safety guy's bar tab.
Oh,
Thank you, Victoria.
Yahoo.
You know. So anyway,
I guess you have to think that understand everything is going up, and the money's got to come from somewhere.
Yep.
Right.
So you have to raise the taxes, or
Cut services.
cut services, or bring in something else that's going to pay for that.
and you can't assume the state's going to give you more money. They're
No,
not.
they're cutting
They're cutting.
this
So-
year.
and then they
coming
throw
up,
these mandates at you.
Look what they did with the elections, right?
Yeah.
Well, this year coming up, also the
You get some
emergency
funding this year, but-
all the public safety money
Yeah.
is being cut by 10% from the state. So it's
So who's going to ante up for that?
yeah, that's got to be increased on the townspeople now.
You know, they say, "Oh, we're going to, get rid of the car tax," but it's going to go somewhere
Yeah,
else.
you're going to pay for it somewhere else.
You know, it's a
Yeah.
shell
Town
game.
still needs
Yeah.
the money to run. It
Right.
doesn't,
So-
The other option is the towns.
Smoke and mirrors is
the other,
all it is.
Yeah, the other options are all the cogs get together and say we're not following these mandates unless you're going to pay for it, state or federal.
Yes.
But
Yeah, and if you don't follow the mandates, guess what? They're
you
not
lose
gonna give
federal
you-
funding.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Or state funding.
It's all coercion.
Yeah, that's right. It's
So
blackmail.
It's got to come from somewhere. just like
on the string.
just like you're never going to give that money to them again.
So yeah. Anybody else got any questions
The
out there or
little bit of
feelings
money
about
that they gave you for
how they felt
yearly-
about
yearly voting this year was
if
peanuts.
you saw the
Yeah.
meeting streamed
Now they're
last
giving
night
you 0 next year.
Yeah.
or whatever? I mean,
I don't think
we're
probably
getting
no
a
one's
lot of
watched it yet.
comments. We're getting a lot of
Are we?
comments. Yeah,
Any negative ones?
there's just a lot of
I'd like to hear the negative ones.
people. A lot of people need to be informed. A lot of people agreeing with what we're saying. Really,
Yeah.
It's not easy. Somebody's going to get. Everybody needs to cut eventually, right? Until we bring in what.
Money. You got to bring in the commerce.
Revenue.
So
Mhm.
as Scott
Business-
said
Business
before,
revenue.
your revenue has to match your expenses,
Right. That's the minimum. Yeah.
right? It's easy math.
It's like municipalities are not in the business of making
But,
profits. But you have
these
to.
terms that I heard, slippery slope. If we keep things in capital, it's a slippery slope.
No, they should be
Well,
in capital.
know what a
Don't-
slippery
don't
slope
quite
is?
understand the
Slippery slope is
but-
when you borrow 600,000
Right.
and then you're going to have to tax people the next year for it. And then you realize, yeah, we kind of made a mistake last year. And then you want to bring another 150,000 out, which they're not going to do because they got this extra money from the school.
Right.
And-
You're continuing on. That's a slippery slope.
Well,
Not worrying about if that should be in
a
capital
one-time
or
deal
not.
for laptops. Or
It's not really a
Chromebooks.
one-time deal.
Well,
For capital, it's in a rotation. There's a certain
Yeah.
population.
Right, and that's
every
why
year
you
that's
have
getting-
it.
That's why it's in capital.
because you look at the SCBAs that are in capital.
Yep.
They have to be bought out every so many
Aren't
years.
they a tool?
They're a tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
So they have to be
What do
used-
they do?
how about that?
Nothing, I guess, right?
Do they educate?
They allow
our
you
kids?
to breathe in a bad atmosphere.
Right.
There you go.
You're breathing in an ideal H atmosphere, but the problem is they lose their life.
Sure.
So that's why they're in capital. You put money towards those throughout those years. That way you, at the end, have
That
the
same
money
thing
to
with
do it.
Chromebooks. They lose
Yeah.
their life
Right.
usage.
And so that's why technology
It's been 4
is in there.
years, but now I'm hearing that they can last maybe 6 or 8 years.
Right,
now.
they could. Then
Right.
there's lots of different factors, right? It's like
usage.
your car should be lasting so long, but if someone hits it, what do you do?
I should be lasting
Right.
so long,
Right.
but I could fall dead right now,
Right. Yeah.
because somebody put something in my coffee. I don't know.
Oh. I don't know who would do that, but
Thanks for the
That's why I
coffee,
gave you-
Rich.
that's
My
why-
pleasure.
That's why I gave you $10. You know, I mean, geez.
Yeah,
You did take care of that,
I
right?
did.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, you don't know, but yeah, you're right. Capital is for expenses that are going to be reoccurring and over a certain limit.
I mean,
Right.
Scott's on
And
it.
I think
so
they're using as a thumb rule 10,000 for the town,
I think so.
and different towns have different thumb rules. But I
I
think they're
mean,
using
Scott's
10,000.
on there. I think that's what the main point of capital. He can say differently if it isn't, but I believe that's what it's for. Is same thing with that's why you have vehicles in there.
Yeah.
It's
So
on
you can
expenditures in town up to $49,999 could be approved by the selectmen. At 50,000, it had to go to referendum.
think it depends on
What
the
it is.
ordinance.
Oh, we got Rob Hamill on now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
State is cutting town funding, but yet they are saying they have a $250 million surplus. Victoria says my department increased 203% simply because we now have a ZEO, zoning enforcement officer, for 29 hours a week and actually have an active planning and zoning committee now. Jamie Hamill says I'm looking forward to enrolling in Rich's boater safety course. Oh, I can't believe some of the comments you hear at these meetings, and some
She
of these
can
same
get the first
people,
diploma.
yeah.
these same people say these things. They're supposed to justify to me that they know what they're talking about with Chromebooks.
But you know what? Kim?
I'm sorry, it isn't being sold very well.
You know what bothers me too, though,
Yeah.
is some of those same people were at that business meeting when we gave the fire department presentation that night
Yes,
and said they were in full support of the fire department.
Yep.
And then they went and tried to cut the fire department. Like, what was your support?
Jewett City Fire
Yeah,
Department.
Jewish City. When we get the most calls, we have the most people showing up, and like, where'd your support go? All of a sudden,
You know what I like? I get there. If I happen to get there first and I'm parked and I'm taking care of traffic and I see this guy driving a truck down the road, you know what he does? He gives me the finger every friggin' time. No, he doesn't.
No.
No, usually when I get down there, they're gone and taking care of the issue already.
Indian.
Anyway, Captain Wasilick. Let's see. Jamie Hamill. Let's see, I already read that. It's about the voter safety course. That's a funny one. Erica said, I still believe too high, too low needs to be on the referendum for the town education budget. Scott took that out of the show the other day.
Mhm.
How you making out with that, Scott? If you're still listening, if I didn't tick you off already and you turned me off.
Oh, you always turn me
That
on.
used to be on there, too high, too low.
Yeah, it used
How
to
about
be.
you,
He was
Lee?
going to look into that and
always
see what
turns
the
me on,
wording
I'll
would
turn
be
you
to see
off,
if he could
so.
get it on the ballot or on the referendum this year.
Yeah, you don't know if people voted down because they want more
Right.
money put in there.
Does it cost money to put a question in?
And
Just
Parks and Rec, Mr. Ryan has got a comment. Just want to say thank you for helping us and getting the word out. Appreciate you guys.
Giddy
Well,
up.
I'm glad you were successful last night, Ryan.
Yeah,
And
support the kids.
make sure you go by and see Mr. Sean McKenna and shake his hand, say thank you, because really, what do you got now?
Uh-oh.
Oh,
We got
talking
something
about the parade that we have to help with for the town in the borough on Sunday. That we,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
we
all
got
the
a
guys that
Little
go
League
there
parade,
and volunteer
Sunday.
their time to. All the guys that go and
Yeah.
volunteer their time to do that stuff.
yeah. So if you're really mad at me, you can come by and see where I'm standing with my flashlight and run me over. Anyway,
Careful what you ask for.
Kathy Walden Wasilick is awake.
Oh, my
9:45.
she just finished her meeting.
Imagine that.
She said they did cut the Jewett City Fire Department. I already talked about that, Kathy. And once again, you're 2 minutes too late.
Catch up, will you?
15,000.
15,000.
Jamie O'Neill Eaton says it does cost more to have a question on the ballot. I understand that, but we're getting a lot of feedback on that,
Mhm.
and it would give the Board of Finance some idea what. the
Yeah, I
people are
was just
thinking.
wondering. Yeah, because I didn't know if it cost more.
Yeah,
or
so
just-
Scott was looking into that,
Okay.
and then
But you really need to know.
No, it's a great question.
Scott
You really
Davis.
do.
Yeah.
They used to do it. You need to know
I
that.
didn't. He said he
Mhm.
did inquire, not too high, too low. Eric was going to check with the town clerk. Okay, so he's waiting for an answer.
So it's going through the town hall
So I guess
circle.
it looks like they may do it.
And Erica says, "Go Little League." Hopefully, it's dry. Doesn't look good.
Sunday does not look good.
No, it
No.
looks like rain.
Yes.
Okay.
Saturday's a good day, but Sunday doesn't look good right now.
So
Mm.
there we go again, Kathy. I'll be standing out in the rain
Mhm.
again. Anyway,
But
hopefully it clears
not
out
worth-
because it's like what, noon is the parade actually, or
it
something like
said
that.
that, 11:45 at the firehouse, something like that. Yeah.
And then it's supposed to last like a half hour, 45
If
minutes.
that, they just
something
come
like
down
that.
the road, wave, and go.
Yeah, wave, go by, blah blah blah, and then they start playing mud ball.
Maybe.
Hopefully it'll be nice. by
Yeah,
the
they
time
do their little
start.
opening ceremonies. We raise the fire department goes raise the flag.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
going to be interesting.
Yeah,
But
I remember those days. My kids were doing that. Yeah.
Oh,
Seems
yeah.
like yesterday. Where'd it go?
50
used to have brown
50%
hair.
Chance of rain.
40
only
pounds
50?
lighter.
All right. I'm a
In the
poker.
morning,
Used to be
then a
6
chance
inches
in
taller.
the morning and afternoon.
Well, 6 inches taller.
70% chance at night.
Oh,
So it doesn't look like a very good day.
I'll be at work.
Nope.
Yeah,
All
see,
right, got any other things to talk about?
Oh, we could talk all day.
I know we can talk all day. What time is it anyway? It's
Yeah,
47.
still got some
We,
omelets to eat.
we stretched it the other day pretty good. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Let's see. So we're a final of 1.47 mill rate after all that was said and done.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which is still better than other towns.
Well, with no debt going forward either. That's,
Right.
That's a
That's
plus.
pretty good.
Yeah.
so let's talk about other towns. So, and you talked about it the other day about the state of something like Norwich, how many people they
they're-
got to let go, Montville, how many
Yeah.
people they got to let go,
50 or something
right?
like that.
Something like that because they knew they didn't really look ahead and plan ahead. So there's a lot of positions, there's a lot of money that they're short.
Yeah,
Well,
the problems
it's all
were
the COVID positions.
yeah, they used
They're
all the
losing-
grant money
Yep.
and all that stuff.
and
to-
never thought down the road
Yeah.
that we should start. Maybe if we wanted to
Get
keep
the
half of
funds.
these people,
Yeah.
start putting money in there for that. Now Norwich, the guy that spoke the other night at the meeting up at the middle school, he was the 30-year Navy guy. He
Mhm.
got up and spoke. He came from Norwich, and it's true. They're losing like 40 people out of their education down
Mhm.
there. Because it was all COVID funded, and they never looked down the road and started pre-planning to fund and keep some or all of them people.
Mhm.
So, it sounds like a huge number, and it's going to have impact.
Oh, huge
because
impact.
They've been there for 4 years or so
Yeah.
now, so it's going to have impact. But they got by without them before. But it probably made the student-teacher ratio
Down, yeah.
much smaller.
There was
than
a
what
reason they
it's-
needed them.
and it's going to go back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a zoo. I've been in the
Yeah.
schools down there.
Yeah.
When I was still working. Oh my God, it's terrible. They're literally in closets down there.
Yeah.
It's that bad. It really is.
So I think people need to think about that. What do you want? Do you want your kids educated?
Moriarty up on Canterbury Turnpike, they've got every available open space set up as temporary classrooms in that school.
Mhm.
And it's chaos, absolute chaos.
Well, then you got to deal with the discipline issues now too. So
Well,
that's, what you
that's
need
another
to-
problem,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So we don't have that problem here.
No.
Why?
Because do you have the positions put into the budget?
Somebody was looking ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. You need to.
Thinking.
Yeah.
So,
So,
but
they're
the-
thinking. So we didn't get impacted as much because they saw it coming.
They're losing what, 2? But I think that
I
was
believe
through
there's.
retirements.
I
So
think
that's-
there was
Didn't
2,
they
but
work out
There was
retirements?
2, maybe
Yeah.
one's
They
retirement. I'm
tried
not
to
sure.
put them in there so that
I think the
wouldn't be
worst case
huge
was
effect.
one or 2.
It was
I think it was
one para and the other one was retiree or something.
Right.
like that.
So-
yeah.
So it's a minimal impact,
Very.
right?
You can't
Because they
complain
saw
about
it
that.
coming. They planned for it.
But now you want to talk about the slippery slope. The town keeps doing this. Guess what?
There's only so
Yeah.
much the town can do until we get some more
That's
You
the
know,
problem. Yeah.
more money coming
That's
in.
why I'm saying it's not an easy job to make these cuts,
No.
but you got to make them in the right spots. It's
What's more important,
But-
fire marshal new truck or Chromebooks?
right. Exactly. So, what are you going to? Kids not educated or having a hard time being educated?
So
or
when I was standing outside waving my stupid flashlight
Mhm.
at River Ridge when they had that smoke alarm go off,
Yeah.
right? And you guys showed up,
Mhm.
and then the fire marshal showed up in his own personal vehicle. Where was
Mhm.
the fire marshal truck?
The fire marshal, the actual fire marshal, uses his personal vehicle. The fire marshal vehicle is being used by the deputy fire marshal. That's what.
Yeah, I've seen him use that. Yeah,
So,
but
it's,
I'm just saying priority wise.
yeah,
What's the priority?
yeah.
I disagree with that priority.
Mm-hmm.
There's some things I think they could have got some money back,
Mhm.
back to the school with some kind of a thank you note for giving us this $250,000.
Yeah.
You know,
And bought the
or
Chromebooks.
accumulating this $250,000
Mhm.
over,
Mm-hmm.
assessment,
Mhm.
and now we can fill in some of these gaps.
And there's
So I know there's a lot of people that don't like the school. There's a lot of people that don't like how much money goes into the school, but they got over 330 employees.
But let's
Right.
look back a little bit too on that. Go backwards a little bit too. There's money out there through grants for all this
Sure.
stuff that the town is looking to get.
You need a grant writer.
Right. So $5,000. I applaud giving the $5,000 to the grant writer, but get a grant writer for $5,000.
It's going to get you one grant.
If that.
Yeah.
If that.
Yep.
You showed me a list
Pick and choose.
of grants on your phone you looked up.
Yep.
That took you, 5 minutes, if that, of grants that are out there.
Yeah, I'm going to be putting in.
And I know some people in the town also, I can write a grant, they can write a grant. There's people in town, they got jobs. They can't focus on that. The school has a person who looks at that.
They don't have the
Different
time to
people
write
do it. Even
grants.
teachers submit grants, and they got a marketer that markets the town, the school, and stuff like that, and bring the tuition students in and things like that. So, why isn't the town doing that? Why isn't the town hall doing? I know there's been talk about getting a human resource person, something like that,
Sharing one or something.
or sharing one,
Yeah.
an assessor, that kind of stuff. I'm like,
A
what do
rental.
we really need to get ahead? Because if you get market it, you get grant writer, and you're bringing money in, then you can start looking at raising some salaries in the town hall. Now you can start maybe putting in a position for a human resource person, that kind of stuff with the extra money. You got to get the money first.
Yeah.
Maybe you could pay the appropriate amount of money to get a
positions in
full-time
place.
assessor too, right?
Yeah, get positions in place to help you get this money going. Right now, I don't know if anybody's even talked to Cunningham up north or Sparkman down south here about how they getting it done. What's your model look like? What's your business model look like?
Well, we talked to him a little bit, and he said you got to market.
I talked to him at one of his RTC dinners or whatever like that, and it's.
I know people say, well, that's another town, but no, the model is still the same.
Exactly. You just,
Well, they got all this property.
Is adjusting the money part.
Yeah, they got all this property. They're different than us. Blah 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 blah. I've heard it from everybody.
We've got a bunch of property right off of 395.
So it's
Two
like
exits.
it's all empty.
People are afraid, and we talked about this the other day. People are afraid of getting stuff in their backyard.
I think especially over on 201, 164. It's not so rural. But over on the 201 area, that's nothing but rural over there.
Yeah.
And it's not a lot.
You're not going to hurt
there,
it.
But there is a couple of right off the exit, right back on the exit properties right there.
And you're not going to hear any extra traffic.
And they're not going to do anything with it now because we blew the money on 164. So 201's got to wait.
But if you bring the business,
So how do you complain when you're not moving forward with something? But they know they need the infrastructure down there. They have said in the past administration has stated that there have been interested parties in them properties over on 201.
Yeah.
But because there's nothing in the ground, they're not interested. So if you've had people interested, why aren't you doing something with that? I'm sure there's grants and there's all kinds of stuff that can be gone after. But again, they got full-time jobs down there. I mean, how do you expect them to do their job and write grants on top of it?
Right. And we need to have people sit down and come up with a plan that's going to be effective for the future. Sure. There's a lot of stuff that needs to change, but we can't be afraid of the change.
A lot of people have thoughts in town, but they're not. Listen, that's not their job. There's people that do this for a living that can. It would probably, the money would come back to you 2 or 3-fold. You got to spend money to make money. It's the bottom line.
Yeah, we've said that several times here.
Many times.
Many times. You got and what we've seen, and in the meetings we've gone to, it's like.
So no moving forward.
Where's the dollars coming from?
Yeah.
I understand the challenge with the dollars coming from, but
Oh, and then the question last night about the car safety kits.
Yeah.
About this $1,000 that was folded into those car safety kits are being donated.
Yeah.
Right.
They're not being purchased.
Rich,
just to make that clear. They're
Rich
being
mentioned that.
Donated. Yes.
Yeah.
We said that last night, and it's
oh my God.
they're like, what? Oh, no, we put it. No,
we're trying to go outside of the town's budget and trying to get some of these things donated and things like that, so we can hand them out
It's
to
not
seniors
easy,
or whatever like that.
It's not easy.
People in need. So let's see, Kathy Walden Waslick.
What up?
Wow.
Do we know her?
I've heard about her.
So they cut the Jewett City Fire Department $15,000 for recruitment and retention, but just this week, volunteers have trained 19 hours at numerous calls, volunteering their time for a town event this weekend to keep everyone safe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, didn't you just tell me she told me we got another volunteer recently?
Yeah, we picked up another volunteer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
That's
2.
good.
We had one that hasn't come yet, and we had one that signed up.
So let's see, the Plainfield Rec
Transfers.
Director. This is from Park and
Transfers.
Rec,
Another
Youth
time.
Services, Ryan, and the town grant writer work together all the time. They have had huge benefits because of it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, they got like a full-time person now, I guess, up there that basically looks at grant writing in town
Who?
up in Plainfield.
Oh,
Plainfield,
yeah.
yeah.
Wow. And look what it's doing
They
for
just
them.
created that.
They just landed that 1.25 square million building. It's going to be built and have 400 jobs.
Like I spent a half hour the other day looking, and I found 2 grants I can possibly get for the fire department.
So Peggy
They're 15
Green,
minutes away.
I'm thinking this is Peggy from Utah,
Mm-hmm.
is if someone is not watching the success of others and adapting for the needs of your community, ego is thwarting the process,
Mm-hmm.
the progress.
Exactly.
Well,
That
Mike
was
the other
loud and
day-
clear last night.
Mike
Yeah.
pulled up his phone the other day when we were in here, and he pulled up what was I forget the name of the website that he looked at, but he pulled it up it was for grant writers.
Mhm.
And you go in there, and there's just this list of them, bang, and he just singled one out and started reading the profile, and on it goes. And listen, these people don't get a lot of money, and they'll do one, they'll do 100, whatever
Mhm.
you want them to do, and there's people
Mhm.
that are specialized in certain areas of grant writing, like you
Yeah.
want to get money for the,
Yep.
the wastewater plant.
Right.
There's people that that's
You
all
also
they do.
know who you're sending the grant to.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I was told you have to know the audience.
Right.
If you don't know the audience,
Right. When
it's
I
going to
did
come back to you.
It's going on deaf ears.
Right.
when I did my grant, I do grants for emergency management and the classes I've taken in school and stuff. When you're doing the grants, you have to use the keywords. You have to wordsmith
Sure.
it to matching what
Sure.
the objective of the grant is.
Yep.
Not that you just want it.
No, it's all about
Right.
the wording.
Like when I was doing the emergency management one year, you had to focus. 2 years ago, you had to focus on terrorism,
Mhm.
and this year it was school safety and stuff like that. So there's money out there for school safety
Sure.
stuff.
Sure.
There's money out there for emergency management stuff.
Yeah, it's all one group.
Yeah.
That's just one category.
Yeah.
Not to
Yeah.
mention,
Yeah.
like the borough got the wall. They're working on the flood wall
Yeah.
to
Right.
protect their plant.
Yeah.
You don't realize that there's a lot of stuff in this town right now that's
Listen,
focusing on that and nothing.
Norwich picked up what $10 or $11 million last year for that business park north that they want to plow
Oh,
down in
yeah.
Ockham up there.
Yeah.
They just picked up the utility company just picked up a $10 million grant to get lead pipes out of the ground for
Mhm.
water services. This is grant money. I mean, this is costing them absolutely nothing to go forward and do.
Like Lisbon's new firehouse is
Part of that's
loaded.
paid for
Look
through
at that.
that.
That's a
Taj Mahal.
Oh my God, that's
A lot. I don't know how much percentage is paying that
Grants.
half of it or something
Right.
like that.
That's somewhere around there. Yeah, I'm not.
That's still a lot
I
of
forget
money.
the numbers.
You know,
still a lot.
yeah.
So when you bring these ideas up, the first reaction, you go, we never did that before, or I don't know if we can do that. That's when you turn to your grant writer that you're paying for.
Mhm.
Yeah, and say, hey,
Go see what we got, see what we can get, and we'll go after that. Right now they got.
Mhm.
Who do they go to?
mm.
First
That's why-
Selectman does not
that's
have
why-
the time to be writing
No,
grants.
That's
No
why I'm not
freaking
sure
way.
if it's worth hiring a grant writer because there's so many different
Yeah.
avenues that you can go down. That, like you say, if that's not their specialty or not, they don't know how to word things properly.
Well-
That's why you're better off going to one of these websites and hire somebody just to, pick somebody out that writes
Well,
sewer, projects.
Mike pulled one up right here
Yeah,
and said, "Here's one for you." Blah 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 blah. blah, Right?
exactly.
but a lot of these grants, honestly, can be done by the department head, if depending on what it is.
You don't word it right though, and it doesn't go.
Well,
far.
but that's why you send this training out there for them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
And
you
who
send them to
it
that
like
training.
you said, yeah.
Yeah. So like I say the fire department because that's what I know. I got to school. I learned about these grants. I worked with someone that got $1 million grant for one fire department in Montville one time, almost huge grant, and it benefited. It wasn't for firefighting; it was to keep the firefighters. He gave them a retirement plan,
Yep.
gave them gas cards, gave them uniforms walking in the door,
Yeah.
all out of the grant, all federally funded.
Sure.
Yeah.
But he had to know the system in order to do it.
Sure.
So that's where I'm saying, but you can send these department heads to these trainings, and they will help you write them.
Mm.
They'll sit down and they'll actually sit next to you and help show you how to write. And it's not a long process.
Well,
and they specialize. But then you
You
get
got to
the
have
huge
people that
ones.
are willing to do it.
Right.
Or have the time to do.
And then you don't have to hire somebody; they're already there.
Well,
But then there are ones where you're going to probably have to hire
Sure.
the specialist in order to do
Yeah,
it.
you get into wastewater,
Right.
Sewer and water projects.
Now you're
I
talking
mean,
multiple different
it's-
departments. Yeah.
You're talking EPA stuff.
Yeah.
You're talking all kinds of things.
Yeah. So there are some really tech, but there's ones that are very simple. You just fill in the blanks on the application.
Sure.
Yep.
It's not.
All right, what do we got here? Peggy Green says if someone's not watching excessive others and adapting for the needs of your community.
Yep.
And we already talked
Read
about
that
that. Rob Hamill, Economic Development Commission. What are they doing? Or what do they do?
Not responding to
You know,
emails.
what is their plan? So that was talked about a little bit last night, and it was asked of the first select person,
They buy signs.
have they talked to the EDC, and she hadn't gotten a response yet. So they got $3,000 to do something, and I don't know what they're going to do with it. And then Peggy says again, Association of Fundraising Professionals, Connecticut chapter might be a place to look for writers training and support.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there. You know,
Yeah.
and I don't know everything. Nobody here.
Nobody
at this
knows
table
everything.
knows everything. You know, that's why
I
you
will
look
stay-
for help.
I stay weary of the people that say they know everything.
Well, I know of a few people last night that I saw talk last night. They don't know hardly anything. So they just make a lot of bad assumptions.
Mm-hmm.
And I was not really happy with a lot of the comments that some people have made in the last several weeks, because that does not build teamwork, does not build a good
No, it doesn't benefit
relationship,
anybody. No.
you know, between certain boards,
Mm-hmm.
and that needs to be mended. I don't know if it could ever be mended if we still have these same people
Mm-hmm.
on
No.
these boards, because
Reset.
you know,
Well, like every form of government, a lot of people are firm believers in there should be term limits.
Yeah.
Right down to the smallest of town boards. I mean,
Yeah.
if you don't bring in fresh thoughts, fresh eyes, fresh opinions, you're staying stagnant.
Yeah.
well, here we go. Here's the problem.
People don't change.
We
their way of
have
thinking.
open spots
Hmm.
on some of
Well,
our
we do.
boards,
Some do. Yes.
and we're not filling them.
No.
So
Why
you
is
know,
that?
we're-
Because maybe they don't
you-
want to go there and just
So
bang
you
their
got-
head
I
against
was-
the
yeah.
wall.
Yeah, I was gonna say I brought to talking to someone the other night about this. I don't remember who it is, and I was saying they were saying, "Well, no one wants to volunteer to." I think we've talked to people that are interested, but they see what happens, what's happening, and they don't want to go and waste their time.
That's what. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because nothing. If you're not going to be move forward or be progressive in anything, you're wasting your time.
Right.
And they see this.
Mm.
I think they'd be more than happy to go spend an hour at a meeting or whatever it is, hour and a
Sure.
half,
But they don't even come to the meetings and listen to things.
right? Because they see what happens.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, not even as part of the committee or the
Yeah.
board. They don't even show up for them.
Yeah. So
Look who shows up for the public health and safety. One of the fire chiefs.
Mhm.
That's about it.
oh, that's because that was part of the new
now it's
Right.
one of the requirements. Yeah.
Right.
requirements.
And they were more than happy to do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
Well, one of them was. I don't know about the other one, but
Because we have new blood in the public health and safety, and we're trying to get
Fresh, yeah.
involved, and we're trying to say, "Hey, we're here.
Mhm.
You got safety issues? Come to us." Well,
Right.
You know,
and then if you're
now we got $1,000.
yeah,
We can have a website.
Hey, we'll buy
we
you
can
a
train
coffee.
people.
Yeah, have
we
a
can
coffee.
train people. In, CPR.
Mm.
Boating, whatever.
Just
You know,
not-
maybe
boat
maybe we'll train you
certificate.
how to fly an airplane.
just
I
not the
don't
committee
know.
members.
Yeah.
Just not the committee members. You
I
can't
don't know
train
if the
the-
FAA will love it like that, but
You
there
can't-
you go.
You can't
Well,
train
not
your
the fire department.
right, not the fire department. You can't train your
It's
fire
gotta be for the
department in
public.
CPR. Right.
For the public.
Don't train your fire department in CPR. That's
Yeah. We don't want anybody in the fire department to know how to use CPR. Hey, thanks, Rich, for training me. CPR
no problem.
A month or so ago, and
That was a different line item.
yeah.
The
It's
Kathy
just
Walden
one big
Waslick,
bucket.
who was supposed to be in a meeting and paying attention,
Slacker.
was happy to see the EDC held accountable a bit last night. It's about time.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
yeah.
We needed to start doing that.
And then once again, Kathy Walden Waslick,
another one. Oh,
she's raring to go.
She's
I
on
can
a
see
roll
that
now.
She's,
Oh my God.
she's like a
She's
spitfire
awake
ready
now.
to go.
yeah, she had her coffee.
You know what? If I could,
DoorDash showed up.
we
Yeah.
need to harness that energy between my wife and your wife, and oh my God.
DoorDash
So-
brought
She
her
probably has
coffee.
all her spreadsheets across all
Yeah.
the computers open.
Yeah, she probably does. She's got. She says, "I want to get my pilot's license. When will you offer that training?" Yeah, so I just said, Kathy.
We're
we're
working on that grant.
Yeah.
Well, we're doing skydiving first if you're
Yeah.
interested in that.
So, anybody else got any questions, any concerns, any gripes? Hope we informed you of all the stuff that's going on and some of the stuff we didn't like what was going on. And hopefully some people are listening will get better at it.
This one?
No.
I doubt it.
Oh, that's, yes.
But, we need to stop with the comments. And now that Rich reminded me, why don't you go ahead and read it, Rich? I've read it a couple times already in the show.
Jewish City Fire Department stuffed chicken breast dinner May 18th this year, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's only takeout, not sit-in, which I like to maybe start doing the sit-in. But it's $15 donation for a ticket, available by talking to members of the fire department. You can also go to the greenhouse, go to Chief D'Amico, and you can get the tickets there as well.
Yeah.
Again, that's May 18th, 4 to 6. And they're huge breasts of chicken. Like, even for me, that's a 2-meal chicken.
No way.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. I've seen this guy eat.
Oh, my word, yes.
Matter of fact, he ordered a steak last night, Chili's, and I was like, dude.
That was after the triple decker.
Yeah, that's like.
I had lunch at Chili's yesterday. I got the 5
that's a mini
chicken
steak.
Fingers and French fries and mac and cheese. I didn't even eat it all.
So, as you find out, as you're getting older, you don't eat as much anymore.
Yeah, I did only eat half the steak because it was late. I didn't want to lay in bed after eating like a.
But he just had 2.5 steaks the night before from Cranky's too.
Yes, that was good.
Those margaritas went down pretty good though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the margaritas are even better.
Let's see. Rob Hamill says it's an awesome dinner, large portions. Kathy, once again, Nick has tickets for sale at the flea market on Sundays. Nick Snacks.
And Nick Snacks.
Yeah, Mike's probably puking right now because I mentioned that and he's not a sponsor. So, Mike's got a lot of sponsors that support this show, like Dean's Corner and Rubino Full Circle, Capital Property Group, Uncle Cranky's, P7 Construction, Jewett City Savings Bank, Griswold Dental, Griswold Pride, Eastern Connecticut Savings Bank. He's got Isaiah's Tire here. Let's see, that's a new one.
That's a new one, yep.
Right. So we talked about them yesterday. Well, I was trying to read tarot cards again.
What about the stars?
Are you
reading stars?
I don't know. Maybe trying to train me on how to read stars now.
There's something here about the performing arts. Is that supposed to be?
No.
Eastern Connecticut Performing Arts invites you to join us on Saturday, June 1st for the Jazz, Funk and Blues Festival at Urashko's Tree Farm in Griswold.
Oh, yeah. That's the annual jazz festival they have over there.
Yep. So that's June 1st.
June 1st. Oh.
Tickets and event details you can be found at ecpaa.org. That's ecpaa.org.
Okay.
And that's by sponsors are DC Builders and Guaranteed Roofing.
All right.
Gates open at noon. Rain or shine.
Beautiful. So I think it was a good discussion this morning.
And again, we
made a lot more friends.
Yeah. Yes. But I would also like to say thanks to Scott being the chair and Rob and anybody else that's being.
It's a tough job.
It's a tough job.
I don't want to do it. I don't even balance my own checking book.
You're going to take some heat and you're going to get some pat on the shoulders. It's the nature
it's a tough
of the beast.
job.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, being on any of the boards and committees, we know it's not always.
No, I will say that like I said before, I mean, we can have differences of opinion,
right?
Oh, yeah,
but you got to have conversation. He came up after the meeting. He asked for some feedback.
Yeah,
right. So we gave him feedback.
And that's the key.
And he's getting some feedback today,
right?
And some of the other board members are getting feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've learned through the years, and and same with you, it's the only way you're going to learn is from feedback. Yeah. Right. Whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
Agree to disagree.
I've learned by watching others on other committees the same. You know, it's, he, like I said, he came up and he wanted feedback and he's definitely going to get it.
Oh,
and it was good.
There was no arguments.
Like I had another board member come up last night. Hey, I didn't mean to be a pain in the ass during the meeting and voting no. I'm like, dude, that's your right. That you believe there's no hard feelings. We'll go up.
Board,
we'll go back and I'll have dinner and a drink with you. I don't care. It's not personal.
It's like that's the whole point. It's America. You got your, you can say yay or nay or abstain or whatever like that. And that's fine.
The flip side is He voted no, but
He had a reason.
was it open for discussion?
Yes.
I mean,
He gave a reason.
Could you come to terms on something?
Yeah, he gave reason. Some it made a lot of it made sense, but
just don't walk away with no, and that's it.
Yeah.
right. Well, but
Also, Paul Lash. You know the old guy on this show.
yes, I've seen him before.
Still not enjoying his Friday off. May 14th at the library
Whoa, he had options.
for training related to mental health at 6 p.m.
Yep. When is it though?
Sponsored by
I put it up on the website.
Health and Safety.
I put it on the Facebook page.
Yep. And put together by Miranda Mahoney, who's on Public Health and Safety, or his Griswold Pride. So yes, very good.
Another person in town that does an awesome job, Miranda.
A lot of work.
Yep, absolutely.
So, all right. So I guess that'll do it. Got anything else to say, guys?
No, I don't think so.
No, we're off to breakfast.
Sure.
Do it.
Yeah, I mean, talk more offline.
That's it.
Okay.
We don't have a
We
quorum.
can really bash people then, right?
All right. So everybody, Mike will be back Monday with Paul.
Paul and his chicken.
Rich, you gonna show up Monday?
I can if you need it.
Yeah, I'm gonna need Monday off.
Oh boy, golfing.
And I'll be in Tuesday. I don't know who we got coming in Tuesday. Probably have to get Kathy Walden Waslick.
Probably.
Tuesday.
I'm gonna be at training.
Yeah. And then Thursday is Psychic Thursday again. And I think Friday Mike's got it.
Yeah, I think he does, and Paul's definitely in. He was not supposed to be here today.
Yeah, but Paul's going to be in, and I'm not, because I think they're going to have the superintendent and the BOE chair in.
Yes,
to talk about school stuff next Friday.
Yeah, and I was told I shouldn't be here either, because Kathy's on board of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's fine. They got Paul. They got two people from the,
it'll be full.
School
Actually,
end.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be
and
round table.
Did it the other day with 4
Yeah.
plus Mike.
I liked that.
Maybe you're all DoorDash with $132,000 coming in the door. I don't know.
You got 1,000 you can DoorDash now with.
Maybe you can get one of them Chromebooks and do the DoorDash on the Chromebook to get the coffee brought in, right?
I say now you got $1,000 too. You can use to DoorDash.
Hey.
We can always laugh at ourselves. We can just laugh
we
at
got a
stuff.
quorum, right?
That's it. Yeah.
We got a public health and safety quorum here right now, right?
Yeah.
Kathy says she's good for Tuesday. She checked her calendar or
Oh, good.
spreadsheets or whatever
I tell her
that.
I checked it for her. She's
And, we probably should get her a 4th or 5th screen so she can put more
Yes.
stuff up there. All right. Have a good day.
Enjoy
the
Have a good
rest of your
Giddy up.
weekend. We'll be back Monday.